Hey everybody, how y'all doing today? I just had a really good Easter. I worked, but it was supposed to be really beautiful. I had to stay inside working, but anyway, tonight I'm going to make something I've never made before. I'm going to make cabbage wraps. They're going to be taco-ish. With this style, I'm kind of craving a crunch, so I thought the crunch of the cabbage would be good. I've already got 2 pounds of ground meat browning. And while that's browning, I'm going to dice up a whole onion. I'm going to only probably cook half of it with some bell peppers, and then I'll mix that in with the mix. I'm going to have cilantro, and I've got me some garlic greens that I plucked out of the onion, out of the garden, and the cilantro I grew as well. It's just starting to come back from last year, and so I got a few sprigs of it. I really would rather have a lot more cilantro, but I've got some cilantro lime seasoning I'm going to use, and so I should be able to get a little lime, a little bit of cilantro, a little more flavoring out of that. A lot of people don't like cilantro. I have heard or read somewhere that there's some kind of genetic disposition on whether you like cilantro. Some people say it tastes like soap, and I think that if you've got this gene or whatever, you don't like it because it tastes like soap. So I feel really, really sorry for people that can't enjoy cilantro the way I do. It does not taste like soap. It's wonderful, especially for wraps and tacos and things like that. I've already got this smaller skillet warming up here. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in there. About half of it on the stove there. Crank that up to about 7 just to get it warmed up a little more. Then I'll cut it down. I've got this on 6. Probably need to stir it. Yeah. That's browning nice. And just kind of cook it, break it up as I cook it. It's easier to cook on both sides if it's not just, little tiny pieces. Then I'll break it up after I've cooked it. And like that. I'm sure y'all brown meat, you know how to do that, but sometimes I break it up smaller before I get started, or as it's cooking. And I find this is a little easier. It smells good. I usually don't season mine till the end. I don't, lots of people put the salt and pepper in there, but I think the salt kind of dries it out for some reason. I guess it draws the liquids out while it's cooking, so I kind of season it with at least salt and pepper towards the end. This, once I get it good and brown, I'm going to put a can of tomatoes. I do have some fresh tomatoes, but y'all going to learn this about me. I love canned tomatoes. I mean, I love fresh tomatoes, homegrown tomatoes. The ones I got are store-bought, so they're not, spectacular, but they're not bad. But I love canned tomatoes. I don't know what it is. It's something about the tin can or or something, but that metallic, I must be lacking some mineral or something that comes out of the canning process, because I just can't get enough of them. Now I'm going to put these aside because I'm going to put those in at the end. I learned a little trick. Onions, I've done that forever, but I have learned a little trick from my sister. Watched some chef, and I can't remember who she said or if she even told me, but they said when you have celery, even carrots. I haven't really done it with carrots. Onions, bell peppers, to save back some raw, just a snitch, and put them in the end. You know, lots of people that are picky eaters, it's not so much the flavor that they can't stand, it's the texture. And this just adds an extra layer of texture. If you cook some of it, saute some of it, and you have some just a little bit raw. Some of it, you know, if you put it in there when it's warm, it'll cook a little bit. But it does. I have tried this just recently since I've learned this. I've done it for years with onions because I love raw onions, but I never did it with carrots and celery before. But they're right. It is so good. I'm just cutting the core out of these and pull the seeds out. I like to leave some seeds in there. I know some people want all the seeds out. I guess depending on what you're cooking. You may not want seeds in there, but this, I'm going to put red pepper flakes in it, so it's already going to have seeds from the hot peppers, and they're just dried. And I think I'm going to leave these might cut them in half, but instead of making like little diced peppers, I'm just gonna maybe cut them in thirds here, and that way they've got a little more meat to them, a little more bite to them. This one's a big pepper. I keep my knife sharpened. I have a little cheap sharpener that I have to replace every once in a while, but even though it's cheap, it works so much better than an expensive one that you have to sit down and make a big production of. This one, I just a couple of swipes, and it sharpens it good. So, same thing with this one. Just have almost bite-sized pieces. I mean, it'll cook down. Ooh, that looks good. It is smelling incredible. Stir that around. I've got it on 7. I'm going to leave it on 7 for just a minute and let the bell peppers start cooking down. Kind of wish I'd put the peppers in first and let them cook more than the onions. Have a little more contact with the cast iron, but that's all right. I'm gonna leave it on 7 for just a few minutes. You double check here. Let's just kind of stir that, break these up a little bit. Anyway, so today has been one full week on this diet. Low carb, watching my calories. I'm trying not to eat any more calories than I use. And most days it's pretty easy. I haven't been starving. You know, I've been intermittent fasting. And so I think it's 16 hours of fasting, 8 hours of being able to eat. And so by the end of the 16 hours, I'm not starving to death. I'm hungry by the time I eat that first meal, because it's usually an hour or two. It maybe my fasting ends at 1. But I usually don't eat till 2 or 3 sometimes. And by then I'm hungry. But I plan ahead. You know, y'all seen everything I've put in my mouth. I've cooked it. I think I made a couple more omelets than I didn't. I didn't video, but for the most part, I've just been eating leftovers. So now that's good and brown, I'm going to go ahead and put in some of my seasonings. This one is the cilantro lime seasoning. And it's kind of a dry, I'm going to do it this way. It's kind of a dry, also I'm going to put, this is a secret ingredient, fish sauce. Do not smell it, it is disgusting. It smells like rotten fish. But it's you just put a drop. You don't put much, and it stinks to high heaven when you first do it. But it cooks in there, and it is a secret ingredient that I think Asian cultures have known for a long time. That flavor, and the smell will go away in just a second once it cooks in there. But that flavor, holy hell, y'all. It is so good. And you're like, you can't put your finger on it. I was going to put just a drop of Worcestershire sauce in there too. I don't know why. I just felt like I needed to. I don't normally. But I'm doing it. Cumin is kind of a secret, almost tastes like smoke. I'm just going to put just a little bit of that in here. And I'm not going to put my red pepper flakes in until a little bit later. This is some smoked paprika again with the smoke, and it makes it a bright red. It's really pretty. I'm not measuring any of this. I'm just going based to 2 pounds. I'm doing, you know. Oh, I didn't want that. That's Italian seasoning. I must have fell out. I don't want that in there. I'm going to do some taco seasoning. That's going to be less Asian and more Mexican, but I think the fusion between the two will be interesting, we'll say. I'm putting 2 packets in, but I'm going to go ahead and stir this up first. Well, that looks good, y'all. I'm going to turn that down to about 4. Let's just simmer. If the meat's good and done. I'm going to put 1 more packet in here. I got that on 7. Maybe I need to get in there. Get in there. I do that a lot. I don't like to waste food, and if I spill something on the stovetop, it is immaculately clean. I clean this thing before, during, and after I cook. I think I'm going to change the size to the larger. I think the skillet's almost large enough. I'll do the second packet here. I probably don't need both, but I'm going to do it. I want an intense flavor. Oh yeah, now we're cooking with butter. Anyway, I have lost, they said stay off the scale, that you're going to lose if you're working out and whatnot. So that seems a little dry to me. I have a can of tomatoes that I'm going to put in there, so that'll help dilute some of that. I think with a packet you normally put water in there, but I'm going to put the tomato can with its juices in there. And that'll act as my liquid. This is, get off of there. No, that's why I stay on there. Take care. Petite dot, so it's real juicy. And we're going to let that kind of just simmer and cook down. I probably could have, before I did the tomatoes, taken some of that damn grease off of there, but I didn't think about it, and that's all right. It's all right. It won't hurt nothing. Yeah, now them peppers are cooking a little better. I just got this on simmer. Now, they usually say don't put tomatoes in your cast iron skillet, but I'm doing it. And I'm going to put just a smidge of celery salt. I like celery salt. It adds a depth, a little more depth. And I think that's it. Salt and pepper. I'm going to go ahead and add my salt and pepper too. And a little pepper. I did one time. I just start burning them. I need a little more oil in there. Look at that. I'll turn it. Yeah, now we're good. On the salt, I'll try to, not do too excessive, use too much excessive salt. And so, out of curiosity, I ground I counted the grinds and grounded it into a measuring cup and poured it into a teaspoon. And 25 is what I just did. 25 grinds. That's what I call a quarter grind. And it was like a quarter of a teaspoon. It was really, really minute. So even though it looks like I'm putting a lot of salt in it, it really isn't. I'm sure there's a setting on my grinder that can make it more, but I'm not going to do that. I like it. I like to think that there's a lot of salt in there when there's not really. It's really just for the flavor. I don't really want it to be salty. I just want it to enhance the existing flavors. I'm going to cut up this cilantro and this garlic greens. Garlic grows like an onion. It grows in the ground, but the plant is on the above the ground, and you can eat the leaves. It tastes just like garlic, and it adds complexity to the texture and a little color. I'm doing yellow and green and white instead of just having brown and kind of a reddish hue. It'll have, a little bit of appeal to it. It'll have all these different colors, and I think I'll go ahead and cut some garlic. I did buy another one these are smaller, little minced garlic. I'm not going to put too much since I'm going to put those greens in here. But I like a lot of garlic flavor, and this garlic, cilantro, lime is really good flavoring for this type of dish. In the past I have made, I think they're P.F. Chang's, there it is, turkey wraps. They're kind of a Thai, ground turkey, Thai flavoring with, I think it's called bib lettuce. Oh gosh, it's so good. I've made that 1,000,000 times. But I've never used cabbage. I'm just going to pour that garlic in there. I'll put a little more than I told you, but I want it to be garlicky. I think that'll make it really good. I want that to kind of cook down. Keep those juices cooked down. So it's a little more thicker. Right, I think I can turn that down to about 5. Got to be careful with the low carb. These bell peppers have got not much, but it's got a little bit because they're sweet. And I have read and learned that Sweet onions that I put in everything are also a little higher in carbs than the purple and even the yellow. The purple has got almost no carbs. So I cut the stems off of these. I'm not going to put those in there. Actually, I may do that too. Yeah, I think I will. I'm going to go ahead and do that too. Anyway, a little secret, a little trick, not secret, is when you pick something out of the garden like this, I put it in this cup with just a smidge of water, and that way while you're cooking it, it's not sitting there wilting. You know, it stays good and crisp. I don't know if you can hear that, but that crunch, crunch, crunch. I mean, I didn't pick it but just a few minutes ago, but if I was sitting here fiddling around, and you can pick it and put it in the refrigerator too in a cup of water, and it'll last several days, so without wilting. Sometimes I pick it and put it in the window thinking, I'm going to use that. I just, you know, if I'm trimming something up or need to trim something up. Just doing these I'd say that's probably a little less than 1/4 of an inch. I'm not going to do the ends. And I'm going to throw that in my onion because I'm going to put that in the very end along with my cilantro. Same deal. I should garnish with the cilantro since I've got that cilantro seasoning in there. But I think these are ready to go in there now too. Just about burn them. That's going to be too hot. Let's put that in there. I'm just pouring it in there. I'm trying not to get all that grease in there. There's not much, but there's a little bit. Oil, I mean. It sure smells good. Even if you don't like bell pepper, if you cook it, it's like cabbage. Not everybody likes cabbage. Lots of people don't like it. It stinks, but if you cook it, you know, like this, sauteed, it will smell so good and taste even better. Initially, it might not. I'm going to put that right in here. It's in there. Get in there out of the way. Now we're cooking, y'all. Now there's got a lot more grease on there than I would love, but it's starting to cook down and incorporate. I should have poured off the grease before I put my tomatoes in there. Y'all. Honky do, honky do. Don't that look good? It sure does smell good. Anyway, I thought 15 pounds and 1.5 inches off my big belly was pretty good for the first week. I think that's probably not healthy to lose that much weight at one time, but I can stand to lose it. I can stand to lose it. It's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and put these little pepper flakes in there. Just like that. I don't know if I'm gonna put all 4 in there. The ones that came with the pizza. I have a can of it, in there. And I actually, in the garden, have red peppers that I let dry on the plant over the winter, sun dry. And I gathered them up. But I wanted something quick, so I wasn't going to go fiddling with that. I'll one day sit down and do that and can those up, not can them, but put them in a package of so they'll be done and ready for when I use them. But these are handy as heck. I probably should have stopped at 3, but I'm doing 4. Everybody likes a little heat. No, they don't. But I don't think it'll be too hot, especially the ones you get from the pizza place. They're not as hot as the stuff you buy at the store. In the little bottle and spices section. I guess it depends on what pepper they use. And these must be not as hot of a pepper, because when you put it on your pizza, it's not hot. I mean, it's not that hot. Anyway, I think, y'all, we are about good. Get them peppers mixed up good, because I don't want to get a bite of all of them. I don't want a spoonful of peppers. Pepper flakes. Anyway, when you're cooking with peppers, and you can control the heat by controlling how many seeds go in it. So we're going to throw this in there now, and we're going to turn it off. I'm going to use my little deal here. I'm going to take that off the eye and just kind of tilt it up like that. That way it don't keep cooking. I'm going to throw this all in. And again, the crunch of that sweet onion just adds a little more layer of texture. I like a little crunch, and that's kind of why I'm making this, because I'm craving a crunch. I'd love some chips and salsa, but I can't have that. And that's okay. Golly, y'all. So that looks and smells incredible. And that is a lot. So I can heat this up and peel me off a couple of leaves of that and eat on this for a day or 2. You know, gosh, doesn't that look good, y'all? That ought to be putting on a menu somewhere. Let's see how it tastes. I'm gonna fix me a little deal here. Give me that. Get me a plate here. A little plate, I think. I'm just gonna peel me off one of these leaves here. And this is the crunchy part, is this stem here. So I'm gonna go all the way to the core before I pop it. And then I'm gonna put a little dew in that. See if I can make a big mess here. If I can do this like that, I'll probably need this little spoon here. It's gonna be hot, y'all. I'll put about a scoop and a half there. And I'm gonna wrap it up, roll it up so maybe it won't be too messy. I'll start with the small end. I mean the more flexible end. And then on this end, I'm gonna try to fold it so maybe it won't ooze out while I'm taking a bite here. My God, y'all. That's good. It does. It's like a traditional taco with a little Asian flair. Gosh, that's good, y'all. Y'all gotta try this. It's good. Anyway, and that's got a good little crunch to it too. That's exactly what I was after. So thank y'all for joining, and just comment if you want to see me cook anything in particular. Thanks. Good night, y'all. God bless.